everyone! So I'm going to be showing how I made my Barbie as Rapunzel dress. This is all the fabric that I'm using, so I have this really nice turquoise foil and some pink satin, and I also have this like gold satin bias binding for the skirt. So I already have this petticoat that I'm going to use with it. It's basically just a circle skirt of satin and 2 net circle skirts on top of that. And I'm just taking a tape measure to figure out how long I want my skirt to be. So I'm starting off with the pink satin, and I'm just making a really basic circle skirt with a waistband, and it'll have an opening as well, which I will use some hooks and eyes to close. So this is just putting interfacing onto my waistband, ready to add that to the rest of the skirt. So to make the closure on the skirt, I have this piece here, and I've just sort of overlocked the edge of it, and I'm gonna sew that in on this opening right there. So this is, I'm just ironing the opening there so you can see it better, and it looks quite neat on the end. I'm doing that before attaching the waistband, so that's what I'm doing now, is just pinning that into place and then I'll sew it. I'm also doing essentially a rolled hem on the edge of the waistband to hide the raw edge. So I ended up having an issue with the skirt where I hadn't cut it out straight enough, and I had to take some length off it to sort it out. So I added this, it's basically like a strip of 6-inch wide satin just along the bottom to add some length there, and then I've just finished off this closure, adding those hooks in. So this is the finished skirt. I just did a basic rolled hem along the bottom of it, and that's it. So for the second skirt, which I'm making out of this voile, I basically just have a big rectangle of the voile to the same length as the pink skirt, and I'm going to hem that using this bias binding. So I'm basically going to sew it along that line there and then fold it over and sew again, so it's it'll probably be easier to just see what I mean. I've started off by sort of folding open the bias tape, and I'm just sewing right along that crease that's made there. And then I'm just kind of folding that back up on itself, so you can kind of see that the raw edge is hidden within that. And then I'm just stitching the other side of it so that it's secured. So I've gathered it up onto a waistband, pretty similar to the first skirt in terms of the closure, except for the fact that I haven't put a facing on it. It's I basically hemmed the edges and then put the hooks on, because it's obviously quite a sheer fabric and I didn't want you to be able to see the facing. So then, starting on the bodice, I did quite a lot of mock-ups, and this is what I've settled with. It's a pretty basic design, it just has some kind of added seams in there. And I'm going to make that bottom bit out of this nice gold fabric. I'm not sure what it is actually, it's like a jersey. And I'm going to use this pattern for the sleeves, just because that's easier. And this is the bottom half of the bodice, all sewn up. I was considering putting boning in there, but I've decided not to because I feel like it's quite stable on its own. So this is a ruffle foot, and I'm using it on another piece of that turquoise foil, which is going to be like the overlay on the bodice. And this is just sort of an easier way than gathering it. I have it set so that it only gathers like every 6th stitch because I don't want it to be like super ruffly. So these are like the pieces for my bodice, and I've just put some darts in there. And then here it is with the voile pinned on. I've done sort of like a hem on those edge bits where it's pinned in, just to sort of hide the raw edge. But I'm just gonna like sew those down. So now those pieces are all sewn together, and I need to put boning in this back bit, so I left sort of a lot of excess fabric there so I could fold it over and do that. And this is how it's all looking. So I've ended up putting more of that bias tape on the neckline, and I also have this trim on there which I need to hand stitch on. My wig arrived. This is linked below, and it's just from AliExpress. But yeah, so the bodice is almost done. I basically just need to put the sleeves on and finish sewing that trim on there, and also add the grommets and the lace. So I've added the sleeves on. Not much to say about them because it's just a pattern, but this gold bit, I basically just added that in between the seams on those 2 pieces, and then I just need to do a rolled hem on the ends there. But other than that, it's basically done. And this is the finished dress, so let me know what you think. I'm really happy with it.